a little boy at a school, and I saw this quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there. It said, "Be curious, not judgmental."
Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight.
Beyond the Bench with Brad Payne and Matt Briggins right here on 102.7 The Game.
Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world.
It's Beyond the Bench, 102.7 The Game, brought to you by the Green River Area Federal Credit Union. Vic Evans with the two stars of the show. Got Brad Payne on my left, got Matt Briggins on my right, and we'll just get straight to it because there's a big elephant in the room. So we're just listen. We're not going to.
There is.
Yeah,
there
I mean,
is.
so we
You're
are not going
talking
to
about my weight.
No, you're right about that. We aren't.
You're not the elephant in the room today.
So for the the first room he's ever been in, he's not the elephant.
How's the New Year's resolution working out with the elephant?
Awful.
Terrible.
Yeah, we're going to also, and we'll talk about the what's happening at Davis County High School. We're also going to talk in this first segment about another New Year's resolution, and I think he was talking about, man, I gotta have my wife's feelings and understand her, and he didn't. I mean, and it's really bad. It's really bad and sideways. But let's get to it. For the people that haven't heard, there was kind of a I would say, things that came out and some text messages that were, sent to some reporters in the KHSA and the Davis County revolving you. Yep. And I'll start. You let people know that what you decided to do, why you decided to do it. Then I also have some questions for you.
Yeah. So, let's set the foundation first on this whole thing. I know there's going to be, we've talked, and I know perception is an individual's reality.
Yes.
Right. And so there's lots of perceptions, and there have been good, bad, or indifferent about me. One thing that I want to make crystal clear going into what I'm about to talk about is that I'm not the victim here. Mm-hmm. What I did was a violation of the KHSAA. There's a bylaw, and it's in the teens, and I don't
16,
have,
I think.
Okay, and by the words that it has in that particular bylaw, there was a violation there.
Can we also? But the perception is, and I want to correct the record on some of this. There's perception out there, people that said you went out and found this and this and this. Yep. That's not the case.
It's not.
The case is the bylaw basically says unless a kid's not enrolled in your school, you can't text them.
That's what it reads, is that you're not allowed to text an unenrolled kid. That even means in the instance that a kid is trying to enroll in your school, he's still not enrolled. He or she is still not enrolled. And so there is a no text, no contact at that point. So there, like you said, there were some text messages that were sent. They were sent to multiple entities.
Right. He has a coach. He has a guardian. I mean, everybody was kind of involved.
Yes. And the text messages that the screenshots that were sent to KHSAA, they were the text messages between me and the student athlete. Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing, again, there's another thing, and I don't want to be, again, I'm not the victim in this, but there's certain things that I don't want to put other people's names out there because it's not worth it, and I'm not making excuses on this. I'm taking full accountability for it. But there's the text messages between the student athlete and I were also a part. That was just one component of a 3 or 4 person group that supports this student athlete. He has a coach, an ex-coach and mentor, a family mentor that actually coached around this area in this area for some years in the early 2000s. Knows the city very well. He was here 5 or 6 years and was successful and moved back to Brazil. He was actually the one that contacted me initially and said that he was moving this student athlete up here. Then the ball started rolling from there. Once the student athlete got moved to Owensboro, there was a group. He has a ex-coach, a mentor, parents, and then he has in Brazil, and this is just what this particular coach did. They would have some support families,
right,
that would help out with some things, and so coach was relaying all this to me, and I would relay some of that to the student athlete. The only text messages that were reported were those that I text with the student athlete.
That you were basically relaying information the coach gave you,
yes,
to him.
And again, I could be sitting here lying about every bit of this, but I do want to go on record as saying I've showed you the text messages
100%
that correspond with what. But again, these are not excuses, and Matt and I have done this show for almost 2 years now, and the one thing that I refuse to listen to or do is make excuses. I committed the violation, and I took what I wanted to, my taking of the accountability didn't reach what DCPS thought should happen.
Right.
They offered a suspension that I vehemently, just absolutely did not agree with whatsoever. I didn't think that what this was and how the KHSAA, well, really and truly, there was no KHSAA on it.
Right.
The KHSAA didn't even investigate this. There was actually another school called. That school didn't have an issue with it. Everybody was done with it. So,
in fact, I think the KHSA even said Davis County, this is something that didn't even rise to them, have to self-report.
They did. they did. So with all that being said, the next step was, all right, how long is this suspension going to be? Again, DCPS thought that it should be much, much longer than what I proposed.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you this? And
yes.
You don't have to answer if
Absolutely.
you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, was there a disconnect between DCHS, the leaders of DCHS, and DCPS on what the suspension could be? Were that two different things?
I think so. I would like to think that was what I can say for sure is that DCPS was certainly not willing to listen to the whole context or even look at the context. This sounds like an excuse, and I'm trying my hardest not to be like other coaches and be like, oh, you're just jealous because we outworking it. That is not what I'm getting at. So I really don't want people to think that. I don't care what you think, but I do want this to come out the right way. I offered to turn my phone in and give them, because I keep every text message.
Right.
I do it for my day job, but it actually worked out great in this scenario here. They didn't want to look at those text messages that coincided with the text messages that I sent the student athlete. And that's their prerogative. To answer your question, yes, I truly think that there was a small disconnect between DCHS and DCPS on it. But, DCPS had the final say.
Right.
And they wouldn't budge off of it. And so now I think I've described it as best as I can, at least politically correct. You get to the point to where all right, now, do I accept the suspension and come back, whenever?
Mm-hmm.
And my thoughts on this were this. Like, we're in a really important time of the season. I don't know how Coach Briggs, I think you and I are alike on this. I always say there's 3 seasons. You got your pre-Christmas, then you got that Christmas. That one's really tough. You got your Christmas break schedule.
Where you're playing
season.
all the time,
You're
every
playing all the
day.
time. You're getting no practice. You get that's the time where you get some players to quit because all they're doing is practicing all they're doing is setting the bench. It's usually your guys that aren't playing. That's when you get a lot of your quits. And then your third one is, hey, we got to tighten up all these loose ends. It's mid-January. We're headed into February. We got to get this thing right going into the postseason. This is the third part of the season, and in my opinion, the most important. All of them are equally important, I guess, but going into the postseason, you know who you are at this point. Everyone should know their roles. The good teams, I think, know their roles, and the bad teams are still trying to figure it out. This is where the great teams become elite, the good teams become great, so on and so forth. Here's my thought process in that. I'm missing out on all that by serving the suspension because the suspension would include practices.
Right.
So in my mind, the only person that I would be helping, in my opinion, on this is me.
Right.
Selfishly.
Right.
Because I still want to be a part of it. If I stay suspended, the media continues to ask Coach Hayden, our principal, maybe even Charlie Broughton, what's going on. And that's not fair to the team because the team didn't do any of this.
Right.
Coach Hayden didn't do any of this. Our principal didn't do any of this. Like, this is an individual violation that occurred and was handled internally. So I felt like the only thing that I could do with the suspension that was offered was resign. Because at this point, the student athlete that I text is not at Davis County.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer at Davis County. So
it's done. Over with.
It won't be.
Right.
But it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way that I presented it to our kids actually just about an hour ago. And there was tears shed. It's not like they're going to take me off to hospice and
I don't know. They were buying you a bunch of Diet Pepsi.
Hey, they did.
Each and every kid bought a Diet Pepsi.
And listen, sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know if this is a violation or not, so hell, we better not talk about anything. The kids were so
FCC
nice.
Violation.
Yeah, I've already committed that. At this point, I'm all media, so what's the matter? So, no, the kids were so gracious. Like, they had some Diet Pepsis for me, and as I got through with my talk to them, and there was a couple of tears shed, I was like, guys, look, you'll still hear me. I promise you'll still hear me say, get in your gaps and rebound. It's just going to be from a different position.
Yeah.
They can't. They meaning anyone. I don't, and I'm not bitter on this. I'm at peace with it. I certainly didn't want to do this. Everybody knows this was. I'd said this was my last year.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly didn't figure it would end like this. But I'm too old and too hard headed to not care about not only myself but the team. And the team's the most important thing in this. I'm not. Like, as long as Moss and Watkins and those guys are there, I'm just a small piece. Like, whatever someone or a group of collective people think that hopes that happens to this team is not going to happen, in my opinion. I'm not a victim in this. I want to make that crystal freaking clear, is that I'm not getting up here and saying someone's after me and someone's jealous. I don't care. I don't care how they figured this out, and I don't care. The fact of the matter is there was a violation. The school handled it internally because that's the only way they could, because nobody else Nobody else cared about it, essentially. The KHSAA said it's okay. The other school that was contacted for no reason whatsoever had no idea, actually. And they were like, yeah, good to go. So we handled it internally. I didn't think that the ends justified the means. That's what it truly boiled down to. And I wish, there's going to be a little bit of a media blitz, I'm sure. I'm glad that I got to do this because it made me feel better. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I don't care what my friends, I don't care what non-friends and family think about me.
Right. Well, I've always said you shouldn't worry about people, what they think about you, if it's not people you would take like personal advice from.
Correct. Like I care what you all think, and which is why I've talked to you all. I care what my family thinks. I've talked to everyone about, hey, am I making the right decision here? Am I, where am I going wrong? Where am I seeing this? Where am I seeing this wrong at? Am I affecting more than just myself on this? I even talked to Caden's mom about it. Like, I care, and I didn't want Caden to just support it because he knew that's what I wanted. I wanted him to be on board and understand, and he did. He understood completely. Talked to Jonathan on the side. On his was actually Friday night, I think. And just told him the whole truth, which he already knew, the whole truth of the matter, and he understood also. I think the team completely understands. It doesn't mean that they have to like it, but the truth and accountability can go in the same path. They don't have to be exclusive.
Correct.
And so, like I said back, I think the Owensboro Times is going to do a story soon, this week. I was really, really glad that they contacted me and asked me for some words, because there's a lot to it.
Yeah, this is like having,
and not a lot to it at the same time.
Right, but to put it in perspective of, the ESPN Owensboro area, this would be, where Davis County is this basketball season, when you're talking about, depending on what poll you look at, anywhere from 3 to 5. That's,
right. Mm-hmm.
So this would be like a team like Kansas or Duke, and one of their coaches stepping down, just a month and a half away from the NCAA tournament. Like,
yes.
It is big news.
Absolutely.
Here.
There's a story.
I do think it's important to reiterate for people out there. One, and I always told you I'd ask you some questions. I didn't even tell you what the questions were going to be.
Nope.
Because I wanted to get let you answer them how you want to be. You've been at this a long time. There's not a mark by the KHSA or any school on your record, correct?
No, there's not. It's funny you ask, because that's one thing that I went back and took a look at and actually made some calls on. Not one time have I ever been written up by an individual school, nor have allegations been brought forth to me internally in a school or from the KHSAA.
Right, and I think it's important to understand that everybody out there knows that there are guys that have you have a couple transfers this year from Catholic, one from Catholic, one from Owensboro. Of course, now I know everybody's like, oh, Moss. Well, no, Moss originally was at Davis County.
I spent 1 year at Owensboro, and the rest of the years with Davis County or Davis Feeder. So so he's not an Owensboro kid.
Right, but but I also think it's important for people to understand, because they're like, oh, he finally, those are all looked at by the KHSAA, and everything completely passed. Like, you see that now. There are players that are at schools right now that are still not eligible, and there's players that went back to their old school because they couldn't be eligible.
Correct.
These have all been looked at by the KHSAA and says everything's above board, meets mustard.
And I think that's where, and I said this at the beginning, where an individual's perspective is their reality, right? So, the transfers that we've gotten in the last 2-3 years, okay, that the speculation, they're like, well, yeah, now it all is correlated. It's not. It's simply not. You may want it to be, and you may have the perspective that it is, but it's just truly not. And this is a totally separate entity that I really, really wish that, and this is for another day, that I could explain that the whole situation from start to finish, which started in September, by the way.
Right.
This actually started in September, and I guess unless there's another question, the one thing I will say in this particular instance, this kid that we could not get enrolled at DC for like visa purposes, essentially. Like I called his mentor and his ex-coach and one of his the guardians and one of the sponsor families that he had, and said from Brazil, and just said, look, this is not going to work at Davis County High School, but if he is interested in staying here and wanting to pursue either like at Brescia or Wesleyan or something like that, he needs to go to a private school, some private school, stay here, stay in, he loved the area as it is. His coach and mentor knew the area real well and could kind of guide him as he needed to go. So like I cared about the kid and still do.
Right.
And he's not even at Davis County.
Right.
So again, some of it sounds like excuses, but like I said, the truth and my accountability can run in the same path. And these are the honest to God's truth. I hope one day I will not absolutely 100% not turn my text messages over to the media at this point. But for the simple fact that the only person that's going to help is me.
Right. And the only people that really hurts right now is your guys at the basketball team.
1,000%.
Now, when the season's over, that may change.
I assure you that will change.
So there you have it. I know it's out there. It's been talked about. I received a bunch of text messages on Thursday and Friday, things like, what's going on, what's going on. And so we just felt like that we wouldn't be doing a service. You guys work for Cromwell Media.
Yep.
We wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't open the show with that and talk about it as honestly as we could, to the point that we could. It's still stuff going on.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to understand that this was a DCPS thing, not a KHSAA thing. They looked at it and said, we got nothing for you.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. Now, the one thing you can look at, and I wanted to bring that up about that, if you look at your overall career record.
27 years.
Not a single violation, not a single being written up, not even a single, maybe a small investigation for something stupid. I don't know. I'm not going to say no investigation, because you can have a parent come in, complain about something, and they're going to investigate. I'm talking about it like officially.
Yeah.
The one thing we can't say that about is Coach Briggins here, not by the KHSA, but his man and husband card.
Unbelievable.
Because if you remember on Beyond the Bench, I don't know how long ago this was, where we had this whole conversation where he forgot his wife's birthday.
Mm-hmm. When is the birthday?
What month was that?
Let's not talk about that.
Hell, he can't remember.
That's right. He doesn't remember. Before we go to this mood, do you have anything you want to say about the whole situation?
No, I think he explained it well, and like Bradley says, time to move on.
Okay, so to go on, I don't even know when it was. He won't tell us the month because he still doesn't remember.
He can't remember.
Totally forgets his wife's birthday. We are literally recording Beyond the Bench, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go get a present."
At a commercial break, like he was on Amazon, just hitting buy.
So then he was turning. He'll get to New Year's. He's gonna turn over a new leaf. He's gonna be a new man.
He's gonna listen to her.
Gonna listen to her more. Not try to fix her problems. Just be present. Mm-hmm. And we get and actually, I thought it was a text from you in our chat group, and I was like, "Well, I can kind of understand it. You've been kind of going through a lot this week."
Right.
And
I had a
you're
rough weekend.
No, this wasn't me.
Nah, this ain't me. I'm good.
What did you forget this time, Briggins?
So I wake up this morning. Just got to sleep in a little bit. About 7:30. It's a lot for me, and I'm getting my coffee, and my wife comes down and she goes, "What do you got planned for our anniversary tomorrow?" And I'm like. She goes, it is.
It's a surprise.
She goes, it's tomorrow, right? So I had two ways I go about this. One, I could say, I got a big shindig planned for you, or I could just be honest, which I'm trying, I'm going to go the honest route. So I said, I'm going to be honest. I said, honey, I totally forgot about it. I did. It just totally.
Do you know your anniversary?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
only reason why is because it was right before official practice, which is October 15th, and it was my jersey number, 12. So it's October 12th.
There you go.
Now, I don't know what year, but
Well, where I screwed up first was getting married during basketball season. I should have got married during dead period.
Yeah.
But with that being said, so I have nothing. I said I have nothing planned. And I says, and then I did start making some excuses. It says basketball season,
Right.
So we haven't felt
I'm
good.
sure that went over good basketball
Yeah,
season
it's like,
with her.
we have a lot going on. And she goes, "Oh, you better have something planned." And so I got practice tomorrow.
You cancel it.
Well, no, I can't. We got to practice. We got Logan County Tuesday.
Well, I mean, one practice isn't
No,
going to hurt
I can't practice that
Okay,
for you.
okay.
Can't do it.
And then my son's got volleyball practice in Owensboro, like 7:30 to 9. So I got to get him there. So I think I'm gonna try to get something.
Are y'all off school?
Yeah, we're off school, squeezed in
That
right
helps.
there. But I got some advice for anybody any young man that wants to get married someday.
Mm-hmm.
This is advice. Y'all could even take some of this advice.
Okay.
I've got that. Yeah.
All right, and
Well, I've done it twice. So
I messed up. I didn't know when her anniversary was or her birthday. I'm scrambling. I did get here a little early in Owensboro and got a few things. So we're trying to put this thing together. I hope she doesn't really watch it unless I, tell her to watch it. But
Right.
So I don't think she's seeing any of this. But
God.
thank God. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my piece of advice is this: there's 3 things you need to learn about when it comes to marriage.
Okay.
Okay. And what I'm going to say may make a few people mad. I don't care.
We need like some Delilah music.
We do.
As Matt's giving his marriage advice to all the young men out there. Go ahead.
The first thing is all women are crazy.
All right.
Just remember that.
Hold on. She's crazy because you forgot the anniversary?
well,
They drive us crazy.
I'm
And they
yes,
always forget.
I'm gonna agree. And there's levels to it.
Yes, there is. And my wife
You
is
just
a
try to
low-
find the
She's
least.
a low level crazy. And
100%.
I love her to death, and she's a great wife. But all women are crazy to a
It
certain
reminds me of that meme, the hotness scale and the
Yeah.
crazy scale.
You never.
there is
that one
one.
right
That
there.
unicorn.
Yeah.
Capture it and see if you can go find
The one
it.
at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one. The second piece of advice is if you're going to get married, you better have thick skin. I mean, that's just without a doubt. And be able to be flexible because when you get up and trying to enjoy a coffee and a smooth Sunday
It
morning.
can go sideways.
And then it did immediately when
Yeah.
she said, "Hey, you do know our anniversary is tomorrow," and I had no earthly idea. I knew it was coming up, and it just totally escaped me. And like, I was like this, like, I didn't know, and I didn't. I have nothing planned. Nothing, not a gift, nothing planned. I really
thing-
don't.
You got
You
all
could
day
do-
tomorrow. You got.
I think
mean,
it's 7 or I don't even know how many years it is. 7 or 8.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know the year on mine. You could have turned and been like, well, I was waiting for you to say something. I wondered if you even
It
knew.
caught me off guard. It was early. I didn't have my
Not a
coffee yet.
caffeine
I didn't
Hold
even
on.
sip.
You said you had 3. What's number
So
1?
this is the most important piece
Okay.
of advice. So that's the first 2 I told you. So if you get married, the first thing I would do is, it doesn't matter, left or right arm, doesn't matter. I would get their birthday and your anniversary tattooed on your arm. Now, I would do it on the same arm. This is very important. You got to hear me out here. This is super important what I'm getting ready to tell you. Birthday and anniversary tattooed on your arm.
Yes.
Same arm. Okay?
Yes.
Keep it there. Now, the reason it's the same arm is, let's say you screw this one up, but chances are you probably will. And you get married to wife number 2. You need your other arm for wife number 2. Now, you may say,
Need to take that advice.
yeah, you may say, well, what if I have a wife number 3? If you have a wife number 3, you're just an idiot.
That's you. That's a you
That's a
problem.
problem.
That's a you
So
problem.
all you need is 2 arms. Wife number 1, wife number 2. Then look, I could have looked at my arm like about a week ago and said, oh, crap, anniversary coming up.
There you go.
And if it's number 1 and you're on number 2, you have to put a little mark to it in case you look at the wrong,
Wrong
arm. Be
arm.
like, yeah, well, yeah, our
Yeah,
anniversary.
well, then, on the second one, you had to put like 2 or a B or an asterisk.
number 2,
Yeah.
parentheses.
Yeah,
do what I did.
That's the 3 the things I would give because right now I'm in scramble mode. Might go to a movie, may go out to eat. I don't know.
There you go.
I got practice
Nothing
tomorrow.
better than the cinema, boy.
Let her practice with you.
Oh God,
That would be great.
That would be awesome.
no.
The best advice to do what I did. Get married on your dad and mom's anniversary
Yep.
the same day.
Yep.
So that way, either yourself or your dad will remember.
Exactly.
One of the two's got to remember and call the other one
Yes.
and say, hey, don't forget your
That's right.
anniversary. Tell you what, we got to reset the video. We'll take a short break right here. When we come back, we will have our Canty Dairy Queen list. It's
Yeah.
a good one.
Yes, it is.
It's Beyond the Bench. 1027, The Game. It's Beyond the Bench, brought to you by the Green River Area Federal Credit Union. Vic Evans with the 2 stars of the show here in the Floor Concept
What a
Studios.
weekend, man.
Brad Payne, Matt Briggins, the Green River Area Federal Credit Union text line just blew up.
Hell, I thought I was in trouble.
Oh, I know. He's in more trouble than you are. Like, your entire family's watching the live stream out there and blowing up the
I didn't
Green
think
River.
my mom watched.
She said what's your mom had to say on the Green River Area Federal Credit Union
She
text
said
line?
it's been 7 years, and she goes, let everybody know that I did not raise you that way.
She said you didn't make that clear.
Made that clear. And here's the thing, like,
Mom knows how long he's been married. He doesn't.
Dang
I'm not
right.
hating on women. I love women, but I'm just saying.
Hey, I said it in the first segment. Truth and accountability can go in the same path.
Yeah. And my sister put on the text line that you're crazy or something like that. So
And she's probably right on that.
Pretty
if I
close
hurt
to
anybody's
it.
feelings, I apologize.
Not really.
I tell you what, before we get there, Gary Queen list, why don't you tell us about our great partners at Hawkins Avenue?
Hawkins Avenue PLLC is a full-service architectural firm founded in 2022, providing design services for academic, business, healthcare, hospitality, industrial, and mercantile projects across the state. They're located in Beaver Dam, so give Jeremiah or Kyle a call at 270-363-2235.
Patriots clinched their type into the AFC Championship game.
What a weekend for me, man.
I'll say this. I want to ask you this because before we get to the Dairy
Right.
Queen list, because it has something to do with football.
Sure.
But like, if you're a Broncos fan, were you like on cloud nine for
my
like
gosh.
for like maybe
10 minutes?
7 minutes until the coach comes out with the second
Isn't that
interview?
awful?
I mean, what did you think about that?
That is awful. That is. I do feel for him there. I mean, like, they had a legit shot with him to have beaten the Patriots, and maybe they still have. That defense is pretty tight, and I think they'll cause May some issues. But man,
Well, their backup's solid. I mean,
he is. He's not
He's
a
a solid
he hadn't
backup.
thrown a pass since 2023 in a game,
but
though.
and they're just going to have to run some bubbles and hope for the best. But to get to the Bills, I've been down on them for about 2 years. Kept on saying the window just increasingly is getting smaller and smaller in his time. I had a lot of time on my hands this weekend. So going into the game, I started looking at, possible ways that the Bills could save money, this and that. They're handcuffed.
They are.
They are bad.
They're capped. They can redo Allen's
He's going to
contract.
take a pay cut.
I mean, he's going to have to do like some Otani type stuff, which, by the way, did you hear that he deferred his $600 million? He's only going to make $2 million next year.
Yeah, he diverted. Yeah. He made $2 million
But I mean, who
last year.
cares?
Right. Well,
They're going to have to do that sort of thing with Allen, which maybe he will, maybe he won't. If he cares as much as he says he does, let's hope that he does. But I'm not big on firing coaches. I've been on the sidelines. It's funny I say that, right? I'd much rather him resign.
there you go.
Not big on firing coaches because I know it's difficult. But McDermott,
Got to go.
I think his ceiling was reached when the Chiefs continued to win. And it doesn't matter. Pick a year that they lost to the Chiefs. He couldn't get past them, and it's not just him. There was a whole myriad of things. But for the people that think that Allen is like a top 10 all time, he's not. He's just not.
Was the I don't worry about the first pass interference because it was also a roughing the passer.
Correct.
And that
was going to go 15.
Right. It was going to be a
regardless.
first down too.
Yep.
I thought the second pass interference was a pass interference. I mean, dude tackled him
Before the ball got there.
Now my question is, interception or catch by Buffalo on the play where they call it the other way? Buffalo probably kicks a field goal and wins the game. Did you think it was an interception, or did you think?
I didn't see it live. I saw
Still
later
shots.
on. That's a tough.
Well, here's my question on it, and it's not for the Bills. If there's no defender on him and he's wide open and he catches the pass and his knee hits, then his hip hits, and the ball shoots out and hits the ground, what is it?
Incomplete because you're going
pass. So
to the
that's
ground.
why I think it's an
Yeah,
interception.
you're
that's
right.
why it's gotta be an
It's got an interception. Yeah.
But here's the thing with interceptions or with catches. There's inconsistency.
There is.
With how they
when's he
replay.
down
Yeah.
by contact?
Yeah.
Is the question. That's the true question in hand is when is he down by contact? Like a knee and a hip hit. and then the ball went loose. Like, is that not enough of control?
No.
You
got to complete the catch, right?
Like if he was going down, if there was no defender there, and he goes down and makes that catch, and the ball comes loose, it's an incomplete pass. He's going to the ground.
Yeah.
But in this case,
he picked it up,
and
before it hit the ground.
And it's so hard to, you get these still pictures, and they're like, oh, and I've seen them out there, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Like a still picture where it just says, hey, it's
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it just
you
doesn't
got to
tell the whole
watch it in
story.
real time, slow motion. Even, here's the thing. Like I sometimes I get on my huddle account, look at these calls that are made. I'm like, when slow motion, that's the wrong call. But in real time,
it makes sense.
Absolutely. And that's
Absolutely.
what people don't understand in real time. So sometimes there's a part of me that wishes we didn't even have replay system.
5 turnovers.
That's
You deserve
to
lose.
Yeah.
And then 4 of them coming from the great Josh Allen. Like, guys, he can't do it all. Like, he has to be perfect, which is impossible. He has to be perfect every game.
I think what really kind of catapulted all this was the
fumble.
Well, the couple games before that, or the game where they go for 2 and he overthrows his wide receiver because they would have won the division at that point. And I think that just kind of catapults all into this.
It was a domino
Hold
effect.
on, if he hits the tight end right down the seam, it's over
the game's
anyway.
over in regulation,
right?
Yeah.
And he was wide open.
But if
He
you
just
look at
missed him.
so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get to our Canty Dairy Queen list. Don't forget, it's not any Dairy Queen. It's Canty Dairy Queen, New Hartford Road, also right by Ohio County High School. And a lot of it has to do with some Josh Allen stuff because it's going to be – we may have some of the same guys. We may have some of the different guys.
I'm sure we do.
It is going to be your top 5 quarterbacks, 5 through 1, never to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And we'll start with you, Brad. Number 5 for you is the 5th best quarterback never to win a Super Bowl.
And I can't believe that, I should have done my research and Googled this prior to saying it. He's either 2 or 3-time MVP, Lamar Jackson. I think he's a top 5 quarterback that has not won. One of the more dynamic quarterbacks that we've ever seen in the NFL in history. I don't know what happened this year. Hopefully this new coach and this whole new regime will maybe kickstart Lamar's career again. 1 year of having one bad year coming off of an MVP season is nothing to be ashamed about. But I do think he's a top 5 quarterback that's never won one.
How about you?
I'm going with a guy who just retired for the 2nd time, who's older than me, Phillip Rivers.
He may be in Denver next weekend.
Yeah, you never know.
What's Jeff Hostetler doing next weekend?
Now, Phillip Rivers, I mean, if you look at his stats and his numbers, but let's talk about this. It's not all about the quarterback.
It's not.
It's the team, the guys around you.
Wins, losses is not a quarterback stat, even though most people think it is.
Eli Manning's won 2, and I would take all 5 quarterbacks on this list before I would take Eli Manning.
I agree with my list, too.
Phillip Rivers is definitely number 5 for me.
I stayed away from guys that are still playing on my list, and I'm going to give you one that's kind of really weird. My number 5, because I love this guy, watching him grow up and play. I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL because of who he followed. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get enough credit. I'm going to go Danny White.
I knew you was getting ready to say
Danny White, and if it wasn't for the darn catch, he'd have a Super Bowl.
I knew you were going there because with who he followed, but I just don't think he.
No, he's not in my top.
I don't know how long his career was, but he had a rough time. That NFC was loaded. One team was especially.
Well, I mean,
loaded.
they went to 3, maybe 4 straight lost 4 straight NFC championship games at one time with the Eagles, the 49ers, the Rams. And so I'm going to go Danny White. I was always a big Danny White fan. Give me your number 4.
I am going to go with Josh Allen. I mean, his numbers are absolutely insane. And like I said, he has to be perfect in order for Buffalo to win. But the games in which he needs to just be great, he's not.
Yeah.
Again, his numbers, he's a Hall of Famer already. If he was to retire right now, he's a Hall of Famer. But he's a great quarterback, and I don't think he's ever going to win one.
Your number 4?
Warren Moon.
That's a good one.
I got him.
And not only did Warren Moon never win a Super Bowl, never played in a Super Bowl either. And part of that was the Oilers had, I think he made the playoffs 3 or 4 times, I think. The Oilers had a few good years there, but that franchise was never really a.
It's just like they weren't serious.
Hey, that run and shoot offense was pretty good, man.
It was.
And then think about it, the team that should have won is a team where they blew the 35-3 lead to the Bills. Let's just be honest.
And the thing is, though, the run and shoot back then, it was kind of a gimmick type offense.
It was.
It's not like so like, they had trouble finishing games.
Yes,
and that because of the way they played, they had trouble finishing games.
It was the equivalent of like the style you all play. You're up 13, and you're telling your guys to keep jacking threes. Up 13 in the fourth quarter.
Seconds ago, right. Having their night, we jacked one up, and I about lost my mind.
Hey, if it goes in, you look like a genius.
Hey, Walsh will do that, but they keep hitting them all. I mean, they don't know a guy.
By the way, Boyd County just won the 2A state championship over Cal, and I think they won it fairly convincingly, 15 or 16, something like that. And Spurlock and that other guard hit a ton of threes. I heard that they're a really good team. I have pumped them up a ton. If they make it to the state tournament, they can win a bunch of games.
Without a doubt. I'm going to go right back to Buffalo. I'm going to go Jim Kelly. I mean, that's
you all
Hall
have
of Famer.
Kelly and Moon are 3 and 2 of mine, so you don't have to go to mine. But Kelly, I mean, and I think he's still greater than Allen. That AFC was loaded when Jim Kelly was going through it and going to those Super Bowls.
And that was a really good Raiders team that they played in what was like 51-7 or something like that.
Blowout.
It was in the AFC Championship game.
Well, Jim Kelly's my number 3.
There you go.
So Moon Kelly.
If you
everybody's going to have the same number 1.
Everybody's got the same.
No, mine's different.
Oh yeah,
well, good. I'll go my number 3 because I haven't heard him yet.
Okay,
my number 3.
Van Tarkenton.
No, nope. My number 3. Dan Fouts from the San Diego Chargers. Air Coryell in the early 80s.
You're always
good.
This
guy was so good
for naming a quarterback that literally 95% of the people that are watching this don't have.
Hold on, he's a Hall of Famer. Are you telling me people don't know Dan Fouts?
No, I tell you what.
Stick with Formula One.
Text in or call in right now if you've heard of Dan Fouts. I bet we won't even get a call. I have.
Yeah, Dan Fouts was unbelievable. Kellen Winslow and Chandler, and I mean
the first Kellen Winslow.
Yes, the original Kellen Winslow.
Played for Miami,
not the Warrior.
It's still the greatest game, that Miami Dolphins Chargers game in the the divisional round of the playoffs, where it goes like double over. They ended up making the NBC News late. Like, you had the block field goal.
I don't remember it.
And then they had
What years were that?
That would have been like 80-81, because then they had to go to the AFC Championship against the Bengals and Ken Anderson. And they show up against the Bengals, and it's minus 27 degrees wind chill. And they were there. They were the run and shoot team before there was a run and shoot.
Asked them, the best coach of all time was Dr. James Naismith.
No. Give me your. You said you had your number 2.
Marino. Oh, sorry. Number 1 was my.
So my number 2 is Dan Marino.
My number 2 is Fran Tarkenton.
So I knew Fran was going to be there. Number 2 is Dan Marino. I'm not a Dan Marino fan.
I'm not either.
I think he's a smart ass.
He can sling it though.
But man, he could throw the football, and he had some talent. Then the defense was bad. He had wide receiver talent around him.
Yes, he did.
Also, Mark Hicks also played with Dan Marino. But Dan Marino never could win one, but he was fun to watch.
It was the Mark brothers, Mark Duper, Mark Clayton.
They were another team that really, really focused on one side of the football.
They had the killer bees for a while there, and then it kind of got old. But they only got to one. The one that really got away from them was the year they beat the Bears. The only loss.
Yep.
That team, if you'd have got a Bears-Dolphins Super Bowl,
that would have been unbelievable.
That had probably been the most watched game of all time.
85, 86.
It was 85, and they blew it against the Patriots and the new Pony Express up there with the Patriots.
Yep.
And so you have Marino 1. I had Tarkenton 2, Marino 1. Who's your number 1?
Without a doubt, Lamar Jackson.
Okay, there you go.
I mean,
well, okay, like that's going to ruffle some feathers, but all right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts here. This is going to be tough. This is going to piss some people off. If you had Dan Marino, and you know what you know about Dan Marino right now, but you got him back in his prime. By the way, off subject here, those Miami Dolphins uniforms what was the big thick Christmas catalog book that you used to get?
JCPenney, Sears.
Yeah, one of those two. They would have those Miami Dolphins service. Yes. I wanted one every year, and freaking Santa Claus never showed up on that one.
Oh, well, you're always bad, naughty.
And so, yeah, but I don't understand it. It must have been too tough to make, but that really ticks me off. That was PTSD, the mom and dad issues there. But take what you know about Dan now compared to what you know about Lamar now in their primes. Who do you take?
Lamar.
I take Marino.
No, Lamar's so dynamic. I mean,
I agree. If someone would let Lamar just run, and I don't care if they blow his legs.
I've been saying this forever. When you take a run, Lamar Jackson's best. I mean, he can throw it.
Yes,
and he can sling it. We know that. But his best quality is his ability to run. Mm-hmm. He would be one of the best running backs in the NFL.
Imagine what
don't take that away.
Buffalo runs. I mean, hell, Denver even ran some naked sweeps.
Why do they do this?
Bootlegs.
Why do they take a running quarterback?
Because in a bootleg out there on an indisposed tackle, Bo Nix breaks an ankle and he's going to miss the playoffs and the Super Bowl. That's why they do it.
But that's one time.
Let's just do a baseball analogy. Let's say you got that guy that throws 101 miles an hour, 102 mile an hour fastball, right? Mm-hmm. And you say, hold on now. We're only going to throw 10 fastballs a game because we don't want you to throw I know this is not accurate 100%. But we don't want you to throw your arm out because you're throwing a fastball. Well, you're taking the best part of his game away.
Well, you got you on a 10-year $1 billion contract, yes, but you ain't getting nothing out of it.
This goes back to my whole saying, Vic, that you disagree with. When you take a great defensive coordinator and then you make him a head coach, you're saying, well, you were one heck of a defense coordinator. We're going to take your best asset away, calling defensive plays or offensive plays, and make you head coach. Make somebody else call it that can't do it a good job as you.
I agree.
I don't understand that.
I think he's the most dynamic player in the NFL offensively now before everybody goes crazy because I still have, I don't know, I still think Trent Williams is maybe the most underrated player, greatest player in NFL history.
He's really good. I mean, the greatest player in NFL history is Jerry Rice.
Probably.
Just look at those numbers.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, but Trent Williams is so underrated.
Trent Williams is the best at his job, and the second best is.
You think Barry Sanders is not one of the best in his?
I agree.
I'd say the only ones I could put with Trent Williams was the one the played for the Bengals for
Munoz.
so long. Anthony Munoz.
Yeah,
Munoz is right there.
Yeah,
as the best left tackle.
Trent Williams is. And he's a freak athlete.
He is.
And this guy is bigger than all three of us.
But who would you take? Like right now, you're starting a team. Like you could pick any quarterback ever. Are you taking Lamar with the right quarterback? And
that's a great question too. My first, as soon as you said it, I was going to say John Elway in today's game because I want someone that could still
be
run.
a little mobile. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you've got to have the days of
even Steve Young was mobile.
Agree.
Well, the great thing is we come back, get our break, and we come back. We'll talk more. The great thing is Marino and Elway are the answer to a great trivia question in a roundabout way.
Sure is.
Here's a great trivia: the only team in sports history to draft 2 first ballot Hall of Famers in the same draft. And it's the Kansas City Royals. In 1979, they drafted Dan Marino in the 4th round, and then they drafted John Elway in the 22nd round.
No kidding.
In 1979,
I
got it right, but accidentally.
Yes, you did.
Because I was like, it's Marino and Elway.
Yeah.
But I was like, but they didn't get drafted by the same team.
Yep, they did in 1979, the Kansas City Royals. We'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit of college football and also get the AFC picks of what's going to happen going forward.
Who cares?
It's Beyond the Bench, 102.7 The Game. It's Beyond the Bench, 1027. The Game, brought to you by the Green River Area Federal Credit Union, Vic Evans, Brad Payne, Matt Briggins. You got the Patriots beating the Texans. C.J. Stroud decides to throw, 470
He threw it to them a lot more.
My question is, and I know C.J.'s been your guy. He's had you in that game 3 years in a row, but at halftime, would you have had to think about going to David Mills?
No.
Well,
You seen him play?
I mean, they won with him.
He's terrible.
I mean, he couldn't have been any worse. But, you would hope that the defense would put you in situations, put a lot of pressure on that Texans defense, and they do as much as he turns it over. What did he have, like 7 turnovers in 6 quarters?
He did. It was. I think I got to like 9 or 10 in 7 quarters. Right after we go off the air, you got Indiana taking on.
Payne.
Actually, it'll be 2 hours after we go off the air because this is going to be played at 4:00 because of the college football playoffs.
Oh, yeah,
you guys are going before Beyond the Bench. You going to you, huh?
Oh, I want them to win so bad.
Line keeps going up.
I don't want a serial killer to win, first of all. And second of all, I'm pro ACC.
All right.
All you SEC
I know you respect
haters out there.
Signetti.
I do.
There's a mutual respect there with both coaches, actually. And I've got respect for Miami's coach. I think he's actually done a pretty good job.
Yeah, but at some point, Mario Cristobal is going to Mario Cristobal, and I think it's tonight.
2 things on him on this national championship. The line keeps going crazy.
Yes.
It's up to 9.
Yes.
You taking Miami, right?
Yes.
That tells me that Vegas is losing control over it. When it goes from 7 to 9,
They are.
There's so much money that they're exploding it over here so they can get some money on Miami. Something's gonna happen there. You may take the points while they're giving
What
it
time
to
does
you.
that game start?
6:30, I think. All the ballyhoo.
My anniversary crap. I mean, what? I mean,
Oh, yeah, you're going to miss the thing.
Take her to a
Take her to the
sports bar.
sports bar and
I
watch
go
the
over
game.
She would
well.
love that.
Could this
she
be
hated
the
every minute
year
of it.
where Vegas, because you talk about Vegas lost control of the line? If you look back
middle.
at,
You can
if
middle
you
it.
look back in 19, I think it was like 75, the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers. It was the second time they met in the Super Bowl. That is the one day Vegas has lost more money than any other day in history. Because the line was going so crazy, they lost on both sides.
They could come out smelling like a rose, though. I'm
They
telling
could. It could get sideways quick. There could be people that the public's loading up on Indiana. This whole story and all that. Oh, my second question was this: you're an NFL team right now with unlimited money to give to a coach. Are you calling Signetti first? Mm-hmm. I still wonder if he is not like the Rick Pitino.
That's my hopeful. That's why I said no that quick. You're like, well, how can you say no that quick? I don't think he can coach coordinators and players like he does in Indiana, like he does in the NFL. Like Petrino, a Bobby Petrino.
Those are 32-year-old men
guys.
with wives and families. You got to treat them a little differently.
Yeah, and I think his demeanor, his
Bear Bryant, for example. I don't know
is kind of like those guys would look at him and be like, "This dude is nuts."
Yeah, they would do the same thing. He's a serial killer.
Right. Yeah.
No, and I think he's smart enough to know that, too. And I've got to ask you just real quick, because we only got about a minute left. You had huge breaking news this past week with the biggest college basketball point shaving and gambling scandal since maybe 1951 with CCNY. I mean, we're going to see more and more of this, but this is a good thing. If you see this, when I say a good thing, don't like if it wasn't legal and this was all bookies, you would never know. Nope. At least the average person who wants to bet on sports and watch sports is protected, because then you realize some dummy out there put $450,000 on Kent State in the first half spread.
It's a great thing that they are monitoring this type of thing. And there's red flags. I mean, who bets on the first half of Toledo Jackson State anyway? You know what I mean? And when there's $400,000 coming in, like, there's red flags. Like, somebody's doing something and somebody knows something. So, yes, it's a great thing that this thing's protected and keep these goons from doing stupid stuff. Like throwing game. Did you see those guys? My God, it looked like what was that movie with
the Goonies?
No, not the word goon. Where he this is so ironic. He got Shaquille O'Neal.
But Blue Bloods.
Blue Chips.
Oh,
Blue Chips.
Blue
Yeah, Blue
Chips.
Chips.
And his guy that was with him.
Fitting against the movie we talk about.
That's what I was saying. Anthony had point shaved.
Yeah.
So,
game.
but it also happened in China too.
Yes.
There was a guy in South Dakota. That was one of the red flags that flew up. There's a guy in South Dakota that had a $675,000 bet on a Chinese professional
Think
game.
about that.
And then listen, there was a guy. And I heard this on the radio.
That is absolutely insane.
There's a guy out there who said there's three things: death, taxes, and point shaving in Chinese professional basketball. Like, it's known out there. And the other,
I guarantee you, they're crooked as hell.
here's the other great thing. Do you guys remember when Kentucky beat LSU and the student squared off with Andrew Harrison
Yes.
on the floor? He was involved in that and got arrested. He's involved in that point shaving scheme.
Well, I
The
love
kid?
that.
Yes, the guy that squared up with Andrew Harrison on
Yeah.
the floor, the student that did that.
Oh, that's perfect. I love that guy.
Hey, they'll see you next week.
Your home for Third
No
Region
kidding.
Sports is 102.7 The Game.
Barbecue sauce.